And we are back with more Katawa Shoujo. Hell yeah. Hold up. Interruptions, man. Interruptions. Always trying to keep me down. Okay. I think you'd be super popular. I mean, your paintings are really amazing. And you paint with your feet. That's really cool, too. I bet people will be amazed. It's not a big deal. I would paint with hands if I had any. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Rin turns away, looking at her painting wistfully. I want to take back what I said if it was what made her make that face. I get it. Rin looks absent-mindedly at me, not saying anything. Can't even tell if my words had any effect on her. I just don't get it. Anyone else would be jumping up and down in excitement. What's the point of doing your best to being at this art club if you don't do anything with your talent? I'm telling you, I'm going to be angry with you if you give this up. My voice rises higher. Don't know what makes me say this. It's like I've been taken over by some force out of my control, but I really do feel angry. Images of a letter written on cute stationery flash in my mind. Images of the masked faces of my parents, my doctors, images of the time I've wasted. That mix into my feelings about Rin like a torrent of molten iron. I want to continue, but Rin suddenly stands up. Fine, I'm going. Hold up a second. I have to do one thing. I have to go fucking get a drink. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I got my drink. I really needed it. Don't. MTN dude. She trots out of the room without anyone saying anything. Stare after her, still seething. Though with the voice of rationality in the back of my head, wondering if I made her angry as well. Teacher lets out an embarrassed but extraordinarily loud laugh. You care a lot for her, don't you? I do. It's what this story has me do. Namio looks at me over his circular pink glasses, smiling sympathetically. You made friends with her then, Nikai? Oh, well, something like that, I guess. Depends on how you look at it. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It's more like me and Rin just tend to hang around each other irregularly. Talking or not about something that more often resembles some twisted mockery of philosophy rather than normal, everyday things that friends chat about. Ugh. Well, that's all good, isn't it? You're a new student and we should be promoting integration into the student body and such. Can't remember all the buzzwords they spew at faculty and Yamaku Foundation meetings, but that's how it is. Tezuka isn't the most social person around these parts either. Yeah, that's definitely true. So she's talked about my suggestion to you? Oh no, not really. I think it's been more me pressing her to decide something maybe I should have. No, I'm sure it's fine. 1 second. Checking something with my music because something is odd to me. Okay, new song. Hope that fixed it. No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm too soft with her, even when I shouldn't. I don't really know how to handle Tezuka. She's so independent and willful. I wonder if this is what every old geezer of an art teacher who gets his hands on a young and fiery prodigy felt like. He chuckles ironically to himself a bit, turning it to face to Rin's latest work, which she left drying on the easel. She departed so abruptly that I wonder if she considers it finally finished. So let's see the painting then. He leans in closer, peering at the canvas. It draws you in, doesn't it? It does. I like good art, dude. It's just like, how the fuck did somebody come up with this? Namiya stands back straight, his face a dreamy, nostalgic visage. I don't answer him, as he seems to be taking my agreement as a given. I sometimes stay here for hours just to look at Tezuka's paintings. She's really just a prodigious. Is that prodigious? Prodigious? I don't know. And at such a young age. I get shivers just thinking of what she could become with a few more years of refinement. You asked what makes an artist, remember? This is it. They take a piece of the world and reshape it in their own image. Metaphorically, of course. Looking at her makes you wonder what the world looks like through her eyes. It's a wonderful thing to be a young and full of passion. The most extraordinary time of your life. You should do well to remember that, Nakai. Yeah, otherwise I'll end up fat as hell wearing pink glasses like you. Yes, sir. So silly. People always ask artists, where do you get your ideas? As if ideas were something sold at the market for pocket change. Can't explain inspiration. For people like Tezuka, it's like breathing. It's an instinct. Met maybe one or two with the same kind of raw potential, but no amount of potential will amount to anything if one doesn't work to realize it. It's practice, technique, skill. Draw for an hour every day for a few years, and even the most hopeless case becomes a passable artist. Tezuka is not brilliant because she was born with a natural talent for this kind of thing. She's brilliant because she works harder than anyone. Ever since she learned to hold a pen, most likely. And all of it with her feet, no less. Absolutely phenomenal. Silence finally lands in the classroom as Namiya lets himself get drawn back into Rin's painting, gently murmuring acceptance towards the still wet canvas. What kind of things do you paint yourself? As if waking from a reverie, he looks at me, surprised at my talking to him. Oh, I don't. Not anymore. I became an art teacher only after my career in that field came to an end. Now I just pass on knowledge to the next generation. The way Namiya answers is curious, both giving and withholding information. I feel like asking more, but he cuts it in before I get the chance. Now you should run along, my boy. It's almost dinner time, isn't it? Yes, sir. Have a good evening. Good evening. You too. Quickly collect my stuff and step out in the deserted hallway, leaving the teacher alone with his musings. The weekend will be here soon. It's amazing how fast time flies here. Promised Emmy I'd join her for the celebration of her triumph at the track meet last week. That should be plenty of fun. That's where I want to be. Living in Beverly Hills. Hold up. Are you sure you want to go? The weather that has been wonderful all of June has finally taken a turn for the worse. The leaden clouds drooping over the town look worrisome, and the air feels heavy and still, just like before rain. The forecast says there's a 60% chance of rain this afternoon. Maybe this will mark the beginning of the rainy season. Of course I'm sure. I've been waiting for this all week. Emmy had planned a picnic at some nearby park with snacks plenty bought from the convenience store, but with the weather this gloomy, seems risky. I asked some other people to come too, but they didn't want to go because of the weather. We have to prove them wrong. Wrong how? You know, like how it always rains when you think it won't, and when you think it will, it doesn't. It will go no matter what. So it's a win-win situation. I've been going without sweets for weeks because of practice for the track meet. But now I can splurge on anything I want. Nothing is going to stop me now. Thought you were all about a healthy lifestyle and stuff. Oh ho ho, Hisao, you understand so little. That sounds something I would say. There's not a single girl on this planet who doesn't love sweets. I guess that's true. Maybe not. Never mind. I don't like sweets. She doesn't count. Oh, that's bogus. Anyway, is this clear? Completely. We will go and eat our fill of sweets. Damn straight we will. Going to have to work it off later, but it's so worth it. Emmy seems to be extremely determined about this. She's positively exhilarated, brimming with energy as always, but something seems special today. Looks like she can hardly stop herself from jumping up and down on the spot. Come on. Come on, you lazy fuck, let's go. Uno momento. Okay, sorry, I had to check the volume on the recording so that it doesn't fuck up. I grasped the wooden handle of the umbrella I brought in the start to follow the two girls, who seem to have no qualms about leaving me behind if I keep daydreaming. My umbrella is really fancy, the old-fashioned kind, with the curved handle and a metal spike at the end, used to belong to my grandfather. It looks like an antique, but it's in really good shape, almost as good as new. It's really big, too. I remember how my grandfather, my grandmother, and I all fit neatly under it when a rainstorm caught us on an afternoon walk years ago, when I was around 9 or 10. My grandparents are both gone now, but I still have the umbrella to keep me dry when it rains. We walk along the road leading down from the school towards the convenience store, the clouds casting their dark shadow down on us. The weather seems to be taking a turn for the worse, and I am pretty sure I just felt a raindrop on my head. Can you guys think of taking umbrellas? It really looks like it'll rain. Rin looks at her limply hanging sleeves and shrugs her shoulders like, bitch, I got no arms. I don't have one. Besides, a little rain won't kill us. She pushes her chest out, looking very confident about that. We aren't made of sugar. I thought that's exactly what girls were made of, especially considering what you're planning to gorge yourself on today. She just sticks her tongue out in reply. Don't do that, somebody will bite that shit. Just that's what fucking one of my old teachers says to fucking kids whenever they did that. She would just be like, you know, if you keep doing that, somebody's gonna bite that shit off. I was just like, yeah. Walked out from the school to the local shopping district. It's not a long one, but it's not very short either. It's all downhill, so our steps roll easily, but time stretches out nevertheless. The distances are right there, in that gray area where you don't expect the trip to be quickly over with, but you aren't preparing for a long walk either. Thus, the trip is slightly too long to stay comfortably quiet the whole time, though the girls don't seem to mind. Rin walks calmly ahead, seemingly lost in thought, kind of wary about starting a conversation since the last time didn't end very well for either of us. I haven't exchanged a single word with her since then. Emmy, on the other hand, is way too happy about just walking. She seems to literally jump a little on every step, or skip over cracks, or balance on the edge of the sidewalk. Every now and then she comments on something, to which Rin replies in an automatic-sounding, nonsensical way that makes Emmy giggle a little. Ugh, so much damn talking. The narrating, bitch. This is what I do, apparently. That's what I'm gonna be known as. It says YouTube. That dude that did the narration on Katawa Shoujo. As we reach the bottom of the hill, the first raindrops begin to fall. I feel one hit the top of my head, then two more hit my nose in quick succession. It's not one or two rain clouds anymore. The entire sky has turned shadowy gray, billowing rain clouds swirling right on top of us. Oh shoot, I guess we aren't going to have a picnic then. What now? Maybe we should have a rain picnic. A picnic in rain. No, we just all catch a cold and I don't like getting me or my snacks wet. Kinda like it. Not the snacks part though. Emmy considers our problematic situation for a moment while I open my umbrella and lift it up, trying to hold it so that all three of us get covered. Hey, Asao, have you been to the Shanghai yet? Yeah. Many times. Too many times, man. It's a cafe somewhere around here, right? I've heard of it. And you've been there, you lying ass. Just we went back in time, man. You don't gotta lie about it. Just be like, dude, I went back in time, and yes, I've been there. It's a nice place. Let's go there and wait out the rain. If it's just a really quick shower, we can still go for the picnic. And if it gets worse, we'll just order cake there instead. Neither Rin nor I have better ideas. So with Emmy taking the lead, we start walking briskly along a side street. The cafe is only a few blocks away, but even with the umbrella, we can't avoid getting it slightly damp. The rain keeps coming down harder and harder. This is lagging the recording to shit, by the way. Raindrops leave tiny dots on the black asphalt road, which then combine into bigger patches like pointillist artwork being made in front of our eyes in mere seconds. It's pouring heavily, drumming on the hoods of the cars parked on the sides of the street and already flowing in at little creeks along the sidewalks. Yellow light shining through the rainwater, streaming down the windows, looking very warm and inviting. Shake the excess water off the umbrella and head inside with them, following Emmy to a vacant table in the furthest corner of the small cafe. The place is almost full. Apparently other people had the same idea as Emmy, and now we are all stranded together here in this cozy little place. Varnished wooden pillars and paper screens mix with a is that Persian or Parisian? I don't know. No, it can't be Persian. It is Parisian style tables and chairs in discordant harmony, contrast of old and new. Light jazz plays quietly in the background, though it's mostly drowned out by the murmur of the customers. There's only one waitress serving the full house, frantically gliding from one table to another, trying to keep up with everything. To my surprise, I think I recognize her. You do know who it is. Stop lying, is how we went fucking in a time machine, man. We saw what happened with Lily's lifetime, then we fucking turned back the clock. We just said, now that this life of mine is going to end, to the time machine. I watched her deliver a tray of teacups and pastries to another table taken by Yamaku students, then take an order from a middle-aged couple sitting across from us, before finally turning to serve us. Yuko? What's good? Now that she's close and facing me, I see that it really is her. Part-time librarian of Yamaku is in full waitress attire. It's a pretty cute outfit, and she has tied her hair up in buns to match. It's a completely different image from her mousy plain style at her other job. Yuko blinks a few times, looking confused, then remembers that she was about to say something. I like her face. It's just like, oh, welcome to the Shanghai. So you work here too? Thought you were a university student or something. Yes, that too. It's a part-time job, as you can see. It's Sunday, so there aren't any lectures. Good thing, too. Since today has been so busy, I'm wishing for another pair of hands. Anyway, I'm in a bit of a rush, as you can see. What can I get you today? Amy doesn't hesitate even for a second. Her eyes glitter like those of a child in a candy store. Tea for everyone, and cake for me. Yuko tries to stay as formal and professional looking as possible, smiling cheerily at my ravenous companion. Ravenous is fucking correct. Ah yes, today we have a choice of strawberry shortcake, raspberry layer cake, or lemon meringue. Or, not meringue. I know it looks like meringue, but it's meringue. Lemon meringue pie. Shit tastes weird. Strawberry, no lemon. No, actually, I'll take both. She looks at me in challenge. I'll take just the pie. Nothing. Amy makes a face at Rin as though she had bitten into a lemon. She's clearly unhappy with her for not joining in. Oh, come on, Rin. It's not polite at all. Nothing, thank you. No, you silly. I meant that you should order something, too. Take a straw, then. My feet are all wet. Why do you need a... Never mind. Sorry? The drinking kind of straw. One, please. Mindfuck. Yuko is obviously uncertain of what to think about this. She fiddles with her pen and stationery for a moment, looking like she's about to cry before deciding that we've finished ordering. Thank you very much. She always looks like she fucking just busts her shit. Just, oh shit! I love my commentary, dude. Making myself laugh and shit. Ugh. Shit. God, I love my music. It's good music, man. She bows down a little bit too deeply and scampers to safety behind the counter. After that ordeal is over with, fucking... Yeah, that was an ordeal. It's just like, what do you need a straw for, Rin? Damn you. And what does that have to do with your feet unless you're gonna suck the fucking water off your feet? Just what the fuck? I have a chance to relax a bit and take a better look at the surroundings. That song is too quiet for my liking. Yes. Next one. Almost every table is occupied by people happy to be out of the rain. Thankfully sipping their tea while waiting to dry off. Fragments of grumbling about the lousy weather or discussions over recent homework carry from nearby tables to my ears. Each one overlaps the other, but all are covered by the sound of falling rain. After a while, Yuko returns to our table carrying a tray with a huge teapot, 3 cups, a slice of cake, and 2 slices of pie. She almost fucking busted her shit again. She slaps the tray onto our tiny table with a clatter, almost sending the teapot toppling over into Rin's lap. We barely recover before she bows again and leaves, hurrying off to serve the other customers. Emmy has been eyeing her strawberry cake very hungrily all this time, but somehow she managed to contain herself until Yuko was out of sight. She digs in with gusto, while I content myself with pouring tea for everyone and placing the straw in Rin's cup. Rin looks at the way the tea swirls round and round in her white china cup, her eyes half closed, almost like she is being hypnotized. With her, I wouldn't surprise it would be fucking I wouldn't be surprised if it was easy to fucking hypnotize her. With how her fucking brain works, it would just be like, look into the spinning wheel. You are my slave. She'd be like, yes, master. Now go eat some brains. Pick up my fork and eye the food in front of me. The pie I got looks perfectly done. Thick layer of meringue atop creamy lemon custard. After having the first bite, I pause, savoring the combination of tangy citrus and smooth, sugary meringue. It's quite good, though a bit too sweet for me. It's very good. She's talking through a mouthful of cake, already halfway through her slice, even though it's not exactly small. I want to taste some of that. Before I get to respond, she strikes out at my delicious pie. Takes a piece with her fork and escapes with it. Hey, bitch! This is pretty good too. What are you doing? You have a slice of your own. Yeah, but if I started on that before finishing the cake, it'd be rude, don't you think? Her insolence is outrageous, but the gentleman in me allows for no retaliation. I glare angrily at her, and she replies by sticking out her tongue impishly. Emmy is even more hyper than usual today, but I don't mind. It's good for her to let off some steam. So she don't fucking flow with fucking energy, dude. It just go fucking bouncing down the hall like a fucking cartoon. Like fucking Daffy Duck or some shit. Or fucking Dr. Zoidberg. Just whoop, 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 whoop. Take another sip of the tea in my cup. It's good and hot, even though I don't usually care much for tea. And the atmosphere in the cafe is very relaxing. Don't mind spending the rest of the afternoon here. Oh shit, yawning. Not even really tired. Not even after Emmy orders her second piece of strawberry cake and Rin spends most of the time staring fixedly at the rain streaming down from the heavens. Even Yuko rolls her eyes at the third piece of cake disappearing into Emmy's bottomless stomach just as quickly as the previous two. Despite the passing of time, it's still raining outside when we exit the Shanghai, though it seems to be letting up a little. Sister, shot you 9mm to your fucking head. Too bad it had to rain on your parade. Weren't we supposed to have a picnic? Amy doesn't look too distraught over this turn of events. Nah, that's fine. We had a good time, didn't we? I feel really pumped up. She got sugar in her tank. It isn't even raining that hard anymore. Kind of want to hike back to school to get rid of this energy and work off some of that cake. She stretches her arms out and arches her back like a cat. After rolling her shoulders around twice, she smiles brightly. Man, I can't really run with these legs, though. Especially uphill. I wish I'd brought my other ones. This notion sounds odd, spoken so casually, but I guess for Emmy, changing legs is sort of like someone else changing shoes. Maybe if I walk really fast, that'll be kind of like running. I think I'll do that. Won't be able to keep up with that going uphill, though. Really am in bad shape, plus you'll get wet without an umbrella. It's hardly even a drizzle now. A few drops won't hurt. I think I'm going to go to the track after I change my legs, too. Emmy skips away from the protection of my umbrella and goes on ahead at a brisk pace. Suddenly, she seems to remember something as she stops and spins around. See you tomorrow. Come eat lunch with us on the roof. I'll bring enough for 3. I love how this chick just makes food and fucking buys food for people out of fucking just out of nowhere. Just like, yup, come, yeah, just you know what? I'll spend the day making food and we'll go fucking eat on the roof. and you know, like just come to this fucking cafe. I'll pay for everybody. Hold up. Taking my hat off and relaxing. Oh no, I gotta move my change. Grab my fucking drink. Ugh. And bring the computer closer because I can't see jack from that fucking distance that it's at. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Rin and I left to watch her wave at us and skip off again. Soon she disappears around a street corner. I'll never understand why Emmy is perpetually in such a hurry to get somewhere. So, would you like me to walk you back to school so that at least one of you won't get wet? If you are happy with it. Seems neither of us wants to keep alive the stained atmosphere from the argument a few days ago in the art room, which makes me feel relieved. Don't want to bear grudges, and I'm happy with that Rin feels the same way. Unless it is decided that we are content with each other's company for now, and we start walking in the same direction as Emmy. Albeit at a considerably calmer pace. Why the fuck did fucking Painted Black just fucking kick up when this scene came on? The shit. I'm always telling shit perfect. I get a bit closer to Rin. Even though the umbrella is already big enough to shelter us both, I can feel her nearby warmth providing a contrast to the chill of this rainy weather. She looks like she's just staring off into space, just like, yeah. You know what I just noticed? You have the same fucking eyes as Misha, motherfucker. If she wasn't a lesbo, I'd say you two should go for each other. It'd be funny as hell to do that story. It would. It would just be fucking great. Raindrops hitting the umbrella make a distinctive sound, playing the staccato melody of rainfall for nobody in particular. I realize I haven't been outside in the rain in what feels like forever. I inhale, taking in the scent of rain, feeling the weather with all my senses. The world melts into a blur inside the rain. Ugh. Okay. The colors of the sky have deepened from gray to dark blue, with hues of red added to the mix from the sunlight reflecting off the clouds. The low-hanging sky looks pretty, as if I could reach out my hand and touch it. I've told you how much I like rain. It's like painting, makes me feel connected. Almost echoing my thoughts, Rin lets out one of her own. It slips out of her mouth, circling around us gently. God damn it, dog. Fucking change the song on me, bitch. Everything looks so soft, like the outlines of things just disappear. I like that. It's like the rain is hugging me. Her voice sounds different from usual, more gentle now, and soft. I wonder if it's only because of the rain, or because of the mood the rain brought upon the quiet artist girl. Feel that mood in myself too, enhanced by her words. Yeah, I like rainy weather too. So do I, bitch. I love it. It's good to fucking take a nap during the rain, because it's just white noise of rain hitting up against your window and shit. It's just like, good shit. It's nice every once in a while. Nah, dude, for me, it's nice every fucking time. It don't matter if it rains fucking 4 days in a row. I don't care. I wonder what it is about the rain. Everything. Silence follows the statement. Oh my god, my frames are just dropping because of this rain. As it allows for no continuation, I decide to push the direction of the conversation further. But you know, if you like the feeling of being connected, what's the problem with showing your paintings to others? Don't you want to be connected to other people? It's not the same thing. You're comparing apples and squids. I'm sorry, it's just a mindfuck all the time. I brought up the subject Rin wants to avoid, and it shuts her down again. Question stays hanging between us for the rest of the trip back to school, and I can't help wondering what on earth I could have said to truly reach Rin. Does she feel that she's lacking in identity? She has a strong personality, but if pressed to elaborate, I'm not sure I could describe it accurately. She feels like a person who is in a constant conflict with herself. I never know what to expect when I talk to her. Neither do I, dude. Ugh. I wonder how she herself experiences that disconnect. If Rin is asking herself every day, who am I, and obsessively paints images that define herself day after day, what does she think of that way of living? The irony is, that's the exact same question I've been asking myself for the past 4 or 5 months. For me, it was miserable, and I can only assume that it's the natural state of being for this girl. When we stop in front of the dormitories, Rin turns to face me, as if sensing my thoughts from afar. Her gaze travels emptily past my left shoulder into the shapeless rainfall. Her dark eyes seem to suck the low ambient light into themselves like a reverse mirror. That empty gaze lets nothing out. If I want to understand what's going on behind those eyes, I have to work it out myself. Rin opens her mouth, then closes it without saying anything. Silence lasts for a few moments before she takes a step towards the dorm building door. See you tomorrow. That's all she had to say, was just, peace, dude. Next morning, like every second Monday morning until he says otherwise, I have an appointment with the nurse. They allow me to skip a part of my first class in the morning, and I don't feel any shame in skipping the rest either. Rather than being thankful I get to miss world history, I instead feel dread when I think about these appointments. I wake up at the normal time anyway and wash myself in the bathroom I share with Kenji, tidying my sleep disheveled hair. I quickly get dressed and put my laundry in the basket. I pack up for the school day. I have all my homework done like usual, so I have a bit of free time now. There's no point in going to the morning class for 20 minutes before I have to get to the nurse's office, so I lie down on my bed and read a book until it's time to go. The door to the nurse's office is open, which is unusual. I enter while knocking to announce my arrival. Looking up from his computer screen, he motions me to take a seat with a friendly hello. Steam wafts up from a piping hot cup of tea on his desk. It's probably not his first today. How are you feeling on this wonderful morning, Hisao? I'm alright, I think. It was cold yesterday because of the rain, so I woke up feeling a bit groggy. You too, huh? Quite a few kids got caught without an umbrella. So we've been spending time handing out masks and curing sniffles. Alright. Today it's a test day. Give me your arm. I extend my left arm toward him, keeping my face expressionless. The nurse ties a rubber tourniquet around my bicep with a practiced movement and briskly goes about his business. Don't think anybody really likes getting stuck with needles, but at least I got over my distaste for them. I had to. Now I barely even twitch at the moment of truth. Once that's done, a blood pressure check follows, and then there are checklists and questionnaires to go through. The nurse nods and scribbles in my answers to the questions as I give them. You're not even a doctor, bitch. You're a nurse. Alright, let's have a listen now. I unbuttoned my shirt and put it neatly on the back of the chair. I was using it while he puts on his stethoscope. I know by heart the order of places where he's going to listen to my lungs and heartbeat. I adjust my breathing to be even and deep without even being asked. It's become routine now for both of us. It's funny. This is pretty much the only time in one's life when you really concentrate on breathing and nothing else. It has always amused me. The nurse lifts the cold steel stethoscope from my chest and places it a few inches lower. Listening again, the contact of the metal makes me flinch on reflex, even though I was expecting it. Furrows his brow, but I can't tell if it's because he's unhappy or if he's trying to pick up something specific out of the complex multitude of irregularities in my heartbeat. Is there something wrong? Please don't talk. I shut up and become more anxious. The nurse is nice, but I can't help disliking these mandatory checkups. I wonder if I'm going to end up hating all medical appointments from now on because of these. He finally lifts the circular metal plate from my chest, allowing me to talk again. Everything seems to be fine. Are feeling alright yourself? Suppose. I was out yesterday when it was raining, and yeah, really felt a bit under the weather in the morning. Maybe I caught a cold. Were you with Emmy? She came down with a cold too. My people told her to stay in bed for a day or two. Really? I mean, I was with her, but I didn't know she got sick. I guess it was a dumb thing after all, for her to go out in the rain like that. Yeah, well, let's put that aside. Everything seems to check out for you, but remember to be careful. Of course. I really don't want to go back to the hospital. He catches something. Maybe repressed terror. I don't know. In my voice, and it glances up from some papers he was looking at. Hey, don't worry. At this stage, it would take a huge crash in your condition to get you re-hospitalized. Doesn't really reassure me, but grumbling about it to him won't make any difference. Quietly take my leave. Had to get a drink. Sorry. Walking along the corridor from the auxiliary building to the main school building, I encounter a young female nurse coming the other way. She smiles at me when we pass by each other. Eee, dude, you got nurses hitting on you and shit. Lobby is empty of people, no surprise, since the classes are still going on. Hear muffled sounds of discussion coming from behind the first floor classroom doors. Glance at my watch. I'd have to rush to get to my classroom in time, and I don't feel like going to class anyway. So I decide to climb up to the roof and have an extra long lunch break. Emmy promised she'd bring something for me today, but if she's sick, that's probably not going to happen. Not feeling hungry anyway, so it's all the same. Climb up the steep stairwell to the roof is oddly liberating. Almost like losing weight, I feel a satisfaction that it doesn't wind me as badly as it did the first time I came up here. Push open the squeaky door at the top of the step into sunlight. The chain link fences allow for a grand view over the treetops, all the way to the gray silhouettes of downtown further away. The dreary weather of yesterday is just a memory now. Silvery blue sky seems to be a mere arm's reach away. I forget for a moment that I'm in a bad mood. The warmth of the sun soaks into my bones, making me drowsy and lazy instead. The bells ring for lunch break, startling me back into reality. Soon afterwards, the quad below me bursts into life. Students pour out of the doors down on the ground floor, intent on enjoying lunch at the quad and the lush gardens in this perfect weather. Hold up. When I hear the door to the stairwell being pushed open, I don't bother turning to see who it is. The intruder starts coming towards me with uneven footsteps. The little river stones. The roof is covered with rattle and a crunch underfoot. Footsteps stop a few feet behind me, followed by a silence. Look upwards into the glowing eye of the sun, absorbing its warmth with my whole body. What are you doing? I turn around out of the courtesy at her first words, to behold the slim, awkward figure of Rin Tezuka. She looks very much like herself today, too. Sorry, forgot to put the 2 in there. Her hair is maybe a tad messier than usual, as if she just got out of bed. She stands with her weight shifted onto one foot, looking at me with mild curiosity, as if I were something in a store's display window. I don't know, just spacing out, I guess. What about you? Emmy promised food. We usually eat here. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. I heard Emmy came down with a cold. Well, I guess that makes sense. She wasn't in class. It's not that common to get a cold in June, though. You don't think she went running at the track afterwards like she said? The rain just kept going. Probably. In the rain? In the rain. This sounds like a bit too much for just keeping up with training regimen. Emmy is a hard-headed one, though, so I can see her running in a downpour just because she had to. Well, that's obviously overdoing it. Probably why she get down with that cold, too. But I guess it's kind of cool. Speaking of that, I'm not feeling well either. You fucking sneezed. And her facial expression is just like, God damn, dude. Rin sneezes pretty hard, failing to stop it in time. She cranes her head down to wipe her nose on her shoulder. So deciding that would be too unladylike, I pull out my handkerchief and hold it to her nose. Here, bless you. Thanks. She clears her nose and I dab the handkerchief gently on it, wiping it clean. Her nose is really cute. Oddly enough, it's probably the girliest part of Rin's face. I think I'm blushing a little, but Rin doesn't notice. Thanks. I think I might be coming up or down with something. Like I was saying. Hope not. Rin doesn't seem to be too bothered about eating, so despite the lack of Emmy-provided lunch, we stay on the rooftop. She comes over and stands next to me, right up against the fence, looking into the same abstract distance as I am. Nobody seems to be coming around to intrude upon this calmness either. It's quiet and peaceful. What does one do with a lunch break if not eat? It turns out that between the two of us, we don't really know. Fortunately, passing time is an activity that manages itself just fine. Even though there's no conversation to fill the silence between the passing seconds, no pointless activities like cloud gazing to spend upon the minutes between now and then, time marches on relentlessly. Keep checking the time on my watch, then decides it's a dumb thing to do. Instead, I try to hold out for as long as possible before I check it again. Maybe I can hold out for 6 or 7 minutes. Rin remains silent, idly looking up at the cerulean expanse above us. Fuck that up. Wonder why. More often than not, we don't speak much. She said that she doesn't like speaking because of her perceived difficulties with expressing herself properly. As for me, I think I just got sucked into the habit at the hospital, where I spend such a long stretch of time never really talking to anyone. Most of the time I feel comfortable about this quiet mood, and when I get the feeling that I have to break the silence, it's always so difficult to come up with something to talk about when it's with Rin. She and I are on such different wavelengths that nothing seems to be on common ground. What is that you like about the sky so much? She turns to me, her eyes dark and serious. Sky is the only thing that is perfect. I know it. Yeah, I know it. You could say I'm an expert of sky if you wanted. And I am even if you didn't want to. A sky expert. It's always different, but it's always perfect. So when it's different... Follow her gaze up into the boundless blue expanse, thinking of her words. Have you ever wanted to be something different? It wouldn't be so bad to be the sky. No, I mean someone else, someone different. To go to a normal school like everyone else, not have to worry about stuff. What stuff? Try to find the right words for a moment, but can't manage to form a sentence that I'd be comfortable with actually using. Man, I don't really want to say it out loud. Try. I'm not as good at mind reading. Don't you ever want to not be disabled? She thinks about this and then shakes her head, frowning. That's a hard question. I don't know what to say. It's okay if you don't say anything. For some reason, I'm just so unsatisfied with who I am right now that I'm constantly thinking stuff like that. It's pretty hard to admit, but there it is. Honestly, I feel relieved about finally saying it aloud to someone, even if it's just Rin. I think I want to be different sometimes. I've thought about changing myself lately, but it's a bit scary, like walking backwards with your eyes closed. The difficult part is to know where your toes are not pointing at. I mean, directions. Even if I don't do anything, I would never stay the same. It's like my old paintings. They are different than what I paint now because I'm different. But they're still my paintings, so there's something the same. That's really strange. I'm different every day, but I'm still me every day. Who am I then? Is that a riddle? If you want it to be. I don't know the right answer though, so you have to come up with it yourself. Well, it's the sky, isn't it? Going by your definition just now. I actually managed to surprise her by that. Maybe she had already forgotten about it. That's right, but I was thinking about myself when I said that. Very strange. Could it be that I actually am the sky? I don't think that's possible. Your logic's a bit off somewhere. She looks down and shuts up, and I can see she's actually going over the deduction mentally, seemingly unhappy with the result she finally arrives at. Yeah, maybe I'm not the sky. Would make sense. I have a hard time knowing what kind of person I am. You're not the only one. It's like my mind is in some other place than the rest of me. Underwater. Yeah, I wonder how it got there. I have no answer, so a brief silence falls between us for a moment. Shift my gaze back to the sky above us. Last time I really paid much attention to the sky was, I guess it must have been at the hospital. I could only see a thin strip of sky from the window of my room. If I walked up to the windows and pressed my face against the cold glass, the strip became bigger, not by much. That sky made me feel sad and lonely, a reminder of the world on the other side. I wonder if there's another world beyond the sky we see from up here on the school's roof as well. Can't stop comparing life at Yamaku to my hospitalization. Yeah, that song is too quiet. I can't stop comparing life at Yamaku to my hospitalization, but I really should. I'm not there anymore. The narrow sky from the window of my hospital room, the faces of the doctors, the faces of my parents, the off-white walls everywhere, Awanako's letter echoing the words she never said, they're things of the past now. Wish I could forget everything up until now, and that time would stop completely. There would be only me, Rin, and the sky, an eternal lunch break on this rooftop, perfect, unchanging, and forever. I'm not sure if I like or hate this school. I could have gone to a normal school if I wanted, but I chose to come here. Why? I just decided I would, kind of like melon or plum jelly. What the fuck? Do you think it was a good idea? I mean, there are a lot of good things about this school, but I think there are a few bad things also. I know. Kind of collect people because they are interesting. People here really are amazing, most of them, but not all. Some people can't take it. They hurt too much. It gets really bad sometimes, you know? They hurt. What if you're like that too? I hope not. I don't like things like that. Hey, I'm not your case study. I'm not going to give up and die or anything. Anyway, I meant more that this place is too distant from the real world. What's the real world? Everything out there. Real people with normal everyday lives that fit together like a puzzle. You don't think we aren't like that? Real people? Maybe we aren't. Well, no, we are. Just meant that it feels more like we're the leftover pieces. Rin thinks for a while, her almond-shaped eyes narrowing as she bites her lip a little bit like a child. Is it hard to be disabled? Her question earns a dry chuckle from me. You tell me. You've been in this business a lot longer than I have. She thinks about that for another while. Don't really feel that disabled. I mean, I do pretty much everything differently, but it's not that hard. I can always practice. I've started to practice food things this year. I think I want to learn to cook in a real kitchen someday. That's admirable, but I don't think it's just a state of mind. Maybe not to you. I have no good counter to that, so I concede by falling silent. Hold up. Okay, we're back. Had to check something. I have no good counter to that, so I concede by falling silent. The situation is making me more and more confused. I know what I want, but don't know how to reach it. Rin seems to believe she can simply will herself into the shape she thinks she needs to be, but can't decide whether she wants to be a bird or a butterfly. I think in the end, I'm not really that happy with who I am either, but that doesn't mean I regret being who I am. That's the thing that's wrong with you, Hisao. Only started to process that rather blunt statement before Rin suddenly hugs me. Don't know how that works. Guess just her leaning against him. What are you doing? I've never been hugged by a girl with no arms before. To be honest, it doesn't really physically feel like a hug. The awkward way she presses her body against mine and the lack of embracing arms makes it feel like she fell on top of me. But the warmth of a real hug is still there, and that's how I recognize it for what it is. I'm hugging you, Hisao. Just deal with it. I know that, but is it wrong? Thought it's what you're supposed to do. I'm not really used to this kind of thing. First time Emmy hugged me, I got surprised and kicked her in the stomach. Oh, I can kick pretty hard, so she hasn't been hugging me an awful lot after that. It's not wrong, just no, it's just me. Things are a bit hard for me, for the time being. Can't seem to react properly to anything. Really? So it is hard being disabled after all? Guess she has me cornered there. Don't have the energy to start arguing against it, but I feel like I have to get something out. Well, no, it's not hard. I think it's just me overthinking things. Really wish I didn't feel so sorry for myself all the time. I wonder if I always was this fragile, or if I became this way after my incident. Nothing had ever truly shaken my world like that before, so there's no telling. Rin presses her cheek against me tightly. I can feel the warmth of her body close against me. Her body temperature feels really high, as if she had absorbed the sunlight into herself and was now sharing it with me. Or perhaps it's a natural state for her. It's the most comforting thing I've felt in a long, long time. Wow, your heartbeat really does sound. It does sound really weird. It's like a drunken percussion orchestra. Please don't say stuff like that. I get really uncomfortable. I laugh at her comment anyway, in an attempt to ease the tension. It sounds a little bit too forced. Man, I'm sorry. I'm such a mess. It's okay. It's the best part of you. Hearing that doesn't make me happy. She breaks off the hug and settles down. An awkward silence falls upon us like a blanket. Me feeling embarrassed about myself and Rin trying to arrange her expression to something she likes. One last time I glance upwards. This rooftop is really great. It's like I'm just a little bit closer to the sky. I know a better place, but we can't go there on lunch break. I can take you there sometime if you want. Bells ring for the beginning of the afternoon classes, and Rin stands up to make... Oh shit, we're gonna stop this here, because it's nearly been a fucking hour. Holy shit. I'll see you guys later. Peace.